So we've been saying right along that in order to have an effective blended learning course, or really any course, students have to have buy-in to what you're teaching. They have to see meaning in it for themselves and in general for the world. So the questions that you pose in any discussion students must be able to find personal meaning in the question. And that's why we have a whole list of essential questions, examples of them from various disciplines that are on the haiku site that you can take a look at. And I know you're already doing this and you have your own set, but to be inclusive in the way in which we approach blended learning, essential questions are a big part of it. So here are two basic principles. What experiences have you had that are related to this question? Students have to find some personal meaning. And teachers, again, have to share their own personal meaning in order to model how to do that for students. You have to become vulnerable so that students can make themselves vulnerable. Teacher prompts are important. When you just ask a question, it's not enough. You have to prompt students about the important points in it. Another point is that the question has to have emotive force. It has to invite students into a real world situation, and the teacher prompts have to focus on personal meaning. How do you feel about this? The questions have to be complex and open-ended. There are no short answers to these questions. The discussion can respond to other points of view. There will be differences in points of view. It's clearly stated, and examples of the question. Clarify potential misconceptions so that students will know exactly what the question is. Questions can be linked to data, so the students can do research. The answers may not be found in the data, and indeed should not be found because they are kind of gut level questions, and you're not going to find the pat answer in the data. Questions should lead to new questions. Prompts by the teacher ask students to respond with issues that may still be unresolved. And so how do you feel about this? Where do you think this would go based on your conception of the answer to this question? And include media, that is, include YouTube, TED Talks. There are many examples of media. It could be movies, excerpts from movies. You can find a lot of those on YouTube. And post them with the question as part of the background for the question. A sample discussion framework. This is taken from Moby Dick, and this is an example of how you would present the question. Give a greeting, hello everyone. And Moby Dick, the sermon delivered, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but here's an example of media. This is a YouTube video of Orson Welles delivering the sermon in the chapel before the sailors take off for many months at sea. Remember about a grading rubric? A grading rubric, you've probably already stated what it is, but remind them about, and this, although this is a discussion, it's really an essay, which is going to be posted as the initial post for the topic. And so you can frame discussions around essays and papers that students have posted, and you can have other students then respond to what other students have posted. You can explain down here where it says your essay is to be posted in a discussion forum, which you're giving directions on the 12th, and the following on the 14th. And so you're giving a tight time frame for students to respond to this question. Not only is this important from the point of view of looking at gut level, deeper kinds of the meaning of life, but students are learning how to write because they have to express how they feel about this. And so they're not just answering quickly in a classroom, raising their hand and saying how they feel, but they are formulating their thoughts in a written format, which is an important aspect of all classes. And you close here with a closure, all the best, and you can sign that with your initials. And so the steps involved in the rationale for writing and the discussion assignment is the learning objectives are clearly stated. Students recognize what is to be learned. You stated what it is. And you can, I went quickly over that last slide, but it is posted, and so you can read that and see what you think. And if you want to post criticism of the question or how you would better frame it, that's great, because I'm basically a physics teacher. But and maybe this is a time to say something about math and science, where math and science we're not looking at gut level meaning of life questions, but we are posting assignments that are not just busy work, that are important for them to understand the concepts of math and science. And so discussions are totally applicable to math and science, because you can state that you want them to discuss how they would solve this problem, and you state the problem. And to make this interesting, you assign different problems to every student. And so every student in the class now has an example of the solution of a problem by every other student in the class. And they can respond by asking students maybe to clarify the step that they may have left out in the solution to the problem. So math and science is totally related to discussions, and they're an important tool in the teaching of math and science, because it involves students learning from each other how they solve problems. Let's go back one more to this. The due date is identified, clearly stated. The next face-to-face follow-up is stated. The students are told how much their work will be worth. We mentioned 50 points. The topic for the future face-to-face follow-up are identified. You identify this in the statement of the question and the directions for it. The students are first asked to reflect on the content by writing in preparation for the face-to-face meeting. And so this is how blended learning comes in. In the essay, students are asked to apply general and personal context. You have to keep stating this, and you have to model it. You may even give a sample answer to your question from the teacher, what it means to you in a personal sense. They know what the rubric is going to be for the grading of the post, and correspondence in the question includes a greeting and a closing, which we've already stated. And then you're giving students a chance to broaden and modify their perspective in the face-to-face follow-up to that question. So that's how I see essential questions, and hopefully you can use these guidelines to come up with your own for assignment 1. Thank you.